Daily Broadside at 950. A couple things I've learned in the last week. Number one, squirt is made from grapefruit juice. I didn't know that was. I thought it was like a lemon lime thing. It's grapefruit. Also, squirt is mostly pee. Um, also, I've learned that the baking racks in an oven. Girl was explaining this the other night, and I was like, I thought you just choose one. I always pick the middle, but apparently there are different levels for what you're cooking. Who knew? Also, liquid death is not alcoholic. Who knew? Sure looked like it, I'll tell you that much. I was at a restaurant the other night with my young son, and we're sitting at the bar and we're eating. It was a seafood Saturday, actually. And some of the best seafood around for living 3 hours from the beach. You know, you can't complain. But we're sitting there, and there's a couple next to us that it looked like, like people in their like 50s and they're on like their third date kind of thing. So they're sitting there eating, and the dude had like his sides were like mac and cheese, and then like it looked like they were sharing like a little monkey bowl of collards. I'm gonna tell you something right now. I don't eat collards, but if you want to share some, that's fine because you can eat them all. I'm not gonna really. There's no need to really share them because I'm not going to eat them. I tried them once, and it's not for me. Oh, but you need vinegar. I don't want. I tried it with vinegar. It's still disgusting. In fact, I don't want to eat any kind of. I like salad, and I like a spring mix, and I like arugula and spinach and all that stuff. But I don't want to eat like the stalk from a plant. Like I don't want to eat the green part of a carrot. You know what I mean? I don't know if that's what you're supposed to eat, but that to me is what collards are. It's just the part of the plant you shouldn't be eating. At any rate, they come out and he calls over the bartender and they're like, "Hey, this is syrup," and they had poured syrup because they have chicken and waffles at this restaurant, and they had poured syrup over it. I'm sitting there watching this, and I'm like, it probably makes it taste better than vinegar. And she's like, "Oh no, I'm sorry." And she goes scurrying back to the kitchen like a little mouse, you know. And she comes back and all that. And so then it's time for us to order. And she comes over, and she brings us our food. Or no, I think we'd already ordered. So she brings us our food out a couple minutes later. So we're eating, and she's like, "Do you need anything else?" And I'm like, and just as deadpan as I'm good at doing, I said, "Some syrup, please." And she's like, and she gets this weird look, and the guy hears me say this, and he's like, and I thought he would like find that amusing. And because again, it's about the delivery, and like you'd have to know me, but I'm like, I'm really good at like selling that stuff, right? And so I was like, "It's just syrup," and she's like, and I'm like, "I'm just kidding, we're fine," and then she was like, "Oh, you had me there," and all this, and he is kind of like, like kind of scoffs at it, and I'm like, "Bitch, calm down with your syrup eating collared ass." I don't know what I'm talking about, but you know. Um, have you ever caught yourself? Because I caught myself doing this the other day. It's probably only happened like 3, maybe 4 times in my life. But I'm sitting at a light, and you pull up to a light, and like there's a girl at the next. It could be a guy, but in this case, it was a girl. There's a girl singing in a car next to you, right? Now you got to figure in a town that the towns that I ride around in, the 150 to 300,000 person towns. There's like 4 major radio stations. You're gonna have a rap station, a rock station, a couple country stations. There's only like 4 or 5 things people are listening to in their car if they're listening to radio. And I pull up, and I'm listening to obviously the same radio station as the girl who's in the next car, and she's singing. And so I see her, she's singing. I turn the radio up, and we're watching her sing. I just find that there's like this weird synchronicity thing going on when stuff like that happens. But you would think that would happen a lot more often than it does. Because again, I've only had that happen a couple times. But it is kind of funny when you know what they're singing. Because then when you catch their eye, if you catch their eye, you can then sing with them if you know the words. And, and then you be looking at them, and singing. Eyes without a face, le trivisa. I don't know what he says, but he says it in French. There's another thing I just learned recently. I've heard that song all my life, or most of it. And I didn't know he was singing French over that. He's singing Eyes Without a Face. It's based on a movie. A French movie. I didn't know it. It's like Les You Von Visage or something like that. Eyes without a face. My voice doesn't do that. I'm still coughing, by the way. I've never I've never gotten over a cold, and I feel completely fine, and I have since like I don't know, Saturday morning or Friday night or something. And yet I'm still coughing stuff up and like snotty. Like what? And I was just at a girl's house a little while ago. Helped my buddy do something. And I was like, she said the same thing. She's like, yeah, I'm still flemming up, flimmity flim, flimmity flam flam, flammity flam flam. That's Brent Hines talking about Bron Daler playing the drums. Anyway, if you know, you know. But yeah, so I didn't know Billy Idol, was singing French in that. Or I don't think he's singing it, but somebody else is. But yeah, but then when you catch their eye and you're both singing Eyes Without a Face, she either calls the police or, y'all hook up. One or the other. Anyway, have a good one, Kitty.